Blog Talk Radio.
All you ever hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different from one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing, happens to work. You know anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything you can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank. You know how I describe the economic and social classes in this country? The upper class keeps all of the money, pays none of the taxes. The middle class pays all of the taxes, does all of the work. The poor are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class. Keep them showing up at those jobs.
They're all the same. I'll show you politics in America. Here it is, right here. I think the puppet on the right shares my beliefs. I think the puppet on the left is more to my liking. Hey, wait a minute. There's one guy holding up both puppets. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control.
I had this feeling, man, because you know there's a handful of people actually run everything. That's true. It's provable. It's not I'm not a conspiracy nut. It's provable. Handful, very small elite run and own these corporations, which include the mainstream media. I had this feeling who's ever elected president, like Clinton was, no matter what your promises you promise on the campaign trail, blah, 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 when you win, you go into this smoky room with the 12 industrialist, capitalist scumfucks who got you in there, and you're in this smoky room, and this little film screen comes down, and a big guy in a cigar rolled the film. And it's a shot of the Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. It looks suspiciously off the grassy knoll. And then the screen goes up, and the lights come up, and they go to the new president. Any questions? Just what my agenda is. First we bomb Baghdad. You got it.
All right, everybody, Joseph Gibson podcasting from Greensboro, North Carolina here. I'll keep my short intro here very short, and I'll open up with John from Mississippi here. He'll be my first guest here to open up the show here. So we'll be live here in about 2 or 3 minutes here. As I line up some other callers here who want to listen in, they need to be called and reminded of the show. That's what they asked me to do, so that's why sometimes you hear a ringing in the background during the intro. So that's what I do. But you have a lot of people here listening here on understanding the times which we live in today. Here on Sunday night, 8 p.m., and last night we didn't do a show, lost power here in North Carolina, and maybe we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I'll open up with John first from Mississippi in about 2 or 3 minutes here. So let me line up other people here who want to listen to the podcast here the best I can. There are a lot of people who want to listen, and the phone number is 657-383-0616 to listen if you want to listen via phone, or you can listen via the chat room, join the chat room, or you can listen via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, all those famous silly little internet troll networks, whatnot. But if you want to talk to me live or talk to John or the people I'm going to bring on to the podcast here tonight, all you have to do is press number 1. But I assure you I will mute you very fast if you don't have anything interesting to add to the podcast, because we're here to understand the times which we live in today. So give me about 2 minutes here as I line up other callers here who are going to be listening, and we'll carry on with the podcast tonight.
I think at one time or another we've all questioned as to whether all that we see and are experiencing in our world has some sort of a rational plan behind it, because we understand now that both the Republican and the Democratic Party in our country are basically run by the same people. The same money finances both sides. We now know, of course, through the work of many historians who have spent their life working on research to show us that both sides of world conflicts have always been financed by the same people. And as I've said before, there seems to be a a method to the madness going on in the world. We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't include you. What your government pays for, it gets. If you are paid to do something for the government, they will extract from you exactly what they have paid for. When we understand that, then we look at universities and schools, government-financed institutions of education, and see the kind of students and the kind of education that's being turned out by these government-financed schools. Logic will tell you that if what is being turned out in those schools was not in accord with what the state and the federal government wanted, then it would change it. The bottom line is that the government is getting what they have ordered. They're getting what they have paid for. They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment that keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. And all American citizens, I think, have suspected something like this is going on. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do about it? This is the most powerful government the world has ever known. They had the ability to get a hold on Adolf Hitler 50 years ago. He had a standing army, the greatest navy, air force, military, secret underworld organizations operating throughout the world. But this government got a hold on Adolf Hitler because it chose to, and it wanted to. And if you do not pay your income taxes, they will find you if you go to the Amazon jungle, and they will make an example of you. They will find you, and they will deal with.
That's right, folks. You all know that. Come on now. You don't pay your income tax, they will find you, they will deal with you, they will lock you down, they will shut you down, they'll put you in a concrete box. Especially here in North Carolina, where we have the most screwed up, unconstitutional, screwed up system, and I'm going to address that before certain things are going to happen here in October here in my life here personally. I'm going to address that because these scumbags out here, until we're going to use this platform here to wake those up who are unawake. Simple as that. And just like that gentleman there just played, okay, you need to wake up. And you need to understand what's really happening out there, okay? There's nothing wrong with having fun. There's nothing wrong with entertainment. There's nothing wrong with, enjoying yourself in your life. We don't have to all be all serious and walk around like robots. We have free will to choose and do what we wish. But, however, the fact of the matter is that there has to be some sort of moral foundation that we have to stand upon and have some sort of law and order. However, that law and order is always controlled by a higher up or hierarchy that has a hidden agenda that controls you. And I want to give a shout-out here to Global Patriot Network before I take my next calls. Tap into the truth. However, tap into the truth. I don't appreciate the whistling calls in the background when I was talking about the Federal Reserve. But we talked about the Federal Reserve on this show many times, and like many callers have called in, they say, you start talking about the Federal Reserve, people don't know what you're talking about. They call you cuckoo and nuts. And what I did was on previous shows, and many people are on this phone line, I've called people live. I've called McDonald's, Taco Bell. I've called Kamala Harris. I've called everybody in God's Rainbow Ministries or whatever the hell you want to call it, live on this podcast. And I asked them, do you accept Federal Reserve notes? And they did, what's that? I don't know what you mean. What's a Federal Reserve note? You carry it around in your pocket every day and you don't even know what it is. How stupid could you be? And then I get criticized and attacked. I get threatened. You don't understand how many threats I get every single day. But, you know, you say one wrong word here to somebody out there, you're communicating threats. You're under arrest. There's a warrant out for your arrest. Roscoe Pico train's coming to get you. And all they really want is your Federal Reserve notes, because it's one big hijacked, screwed-up system, and that's what it is until we wake up and we come together, and I think John will talk about that here tonight. We have the Constitution. We need to stand up for the Constitution, even though it was abandoned in 1871 through the Reconstruction Acts of 1871, and then they hijacked our monetary system through the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Oh, there he goes, talking about that again. You're nuts. You don't know what we're talking about. You know, look, you had better wake up. You don't understand. These people have plans for you. You don't understand that these people are evil. There is an evil system out there that is controlling you. There's always good. There's always bad. There's always a positive. There's always a negative. You start your car up in the morning. You have a car battery in your car that starts your car, basically. Okay, you have a positive and negative. It's the laws of nature. You have a positive and negative. You have good versus evil, and evil out there is controlling this world today. Okay, it is controlling you, and you don't even know it because you are entertained. You are brainwashed. Your mind is so diluted that you don't understand what's going on. And like I said, I don't have a problem with having fun and enjoying good times, and I don't mind watching entertainment and getting into basketball or football or whatnot, or gladiator sports or whatever. I was watching the football game here tonight, you know, but the government controls that football game. Now they got so many damn rules. I mean, they're like robots out there. You know, everything is programmed. They got to wait. You know, all the passes, a quarterback drops back 3 steps. He's got to throw a ball at a certain time. There's no talent anymore. You know, everything is controlled and diluted. You know, we've taken the fun out of everything. We've taken the free will of man out of everything to enjoy ourselves. But I'm not going to carry on. I promise to keep my intro short here, but everyone can talk about what they want to talk about, so everyone gets a chance here to talk on understanding the times in which we're living today. Hopefully we don't get any trolls here or Tony Talk garbage, you know, on the podcast, and that's what Tony Talk is, pure garbage. If you like funny nonsense and perverted nonsense, then tune in to Tony Talk. But Tony Talk is pure garbage on Blog Talk Radio. And I've come to believe actually, now that doing my research, that Blog Talk Radio is in coercion and collusion with the FBI. I believe that now through own circumstances that I've been through on this podcast show. It's logical. And I'll explain that in future shows unless they shut me down. They've yet to shut me down yet. But I'm sure they plan on doing that soon. Because once you get a voice out there and you start making a change and you start waking people up, they will come after you. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at Gandhi. Okay, look at Malcolm X. Well, look at all the people out there who have decided to try to stand and take a change. They've shot them down fast. They'll kill them. Bang, bang. And I'm not going to play the George Carlin role that I played so many times on this show, where they shut down good voices out there that try to wake people up to really understand the times in which you're living today. But it's time for me to be quiet and open up the phone lines to everybody out there. Press number 1. You are unscreened, uncensored, always on this podcast show, but I do recognize some numbers. So I'm going to go move down the line here, and I'll start with John. John, I believe you're first, and then Mandela Khan, you're after that. Go ahead, John.
Hey, how you doing, Joe? Sorry about the power outage last night. I missed the show. I was looking forward to it. On topic, 1765, when they started flying the military flag over this country, that's when they infiltrated our Constitution and suspended it. That's when they really did the big damage and were able to do what they did in 1913. Few years later, and then 20 years later, 1933, where they bankrupt us. You know, people have to understand that flag flying over the United States does not symbolize freedom. It's not constitutional. It is the military flag, okay, that declares martial law on the people of this country. And I know we've been lied to. Everybody's been lied to about it. It's a hard thing to let go of your, cultish beliefs because you were raised with them. But that flag does have a language, and that language is very clear. It suspends the Constitution. It suspends freedom in this country. We are no longer in a free country. We haven't been since. So they've been able to do these administrative courts legally, not lawfully, but legally. You all know what that is. Just like flying the flag is not lawful, but they're getting away with it. And they've controlled the education system, so they've been able to get away with everything.
Well, John, you're talking, not to interrupt your train of thought, John, not to interrupt you, but you're talking about the two flags, and a lot of people may not get that are listening. You're talking about the Admiralty Maritime flag with the gold embroidered little feathers on the end of it, and that is the flag you're talking about that controls that has been incorporated. There was another flag before that, so I just wanted to state that. So I think you understand the two differences between the flag. A lot of people don't. They don't understand the flag with the eagle on top and the embroidered feathers there at the end. Why do they have that flag? Which there is a difference, and it's a symbol that represents martial law. You're absolutely correct, John, on what you're saying, but people need to really look that up, actually.
You're actually, I was saying exactly what I meant. The flag that flies without the gold fringe is suspending the Constitution. That is the military flag. That was the wartime flag. We have a civil flag, a constitutional flag, a peacetime flag is what they call it, okay? Which is vertical stripes, red and white vertical stripes instead of horizontal. And it has blue stars on a white field, exact opposite of our military flag, the constitutional flag. The flag that you're talking about without the gold fringe that has the horizontal stripes and the blue field with white stripes is still the military flag. It's still declared martial law. People are misunderstanding that. If you do your research and you can find the right research, the gold fringe does not, in fact, it is military. It is martial law already. That's one thing people really don't understand. In 1865, we went under martial law. They suspended the Constitution. That's why they've gotten away with everything up to now.
Well, they didn't suspend the Constitution, John, but I want you to carry on there. But I got a lot of callers on the phone line here tonight, but they didn't suspend it. A war was fought over it, a war, and that was the Civil War.
Right.
And a lot of people see everyone's brainwashed thinking the Civil War was fought over slavery. That's not why the Civil War was fought. The Civil War was not fought over slavery, folks. It was fought over the independent rights of states having sovereign rights and citizens having sovereign intent to obey the Constitution as it was written. And then they created, after the Civil War, the 14th Amendment. You got to remember the Constitution had 10 amendments. And then all the other amendments that were added to that after the Civil War, which one was the 14th Amendment, which really enslaved us to a judiciary, public policy, and general statutory law. And that's why you have all those statutes out there. North Carolina general statute such and such says you can't drive without a seatbelt or it's a $150 fine. Stuff like that. And that's not what the Constitution was founded upon.
Yeah, they're all acts of extortion by a terrorist government. Bottom line, all these laws.
Exactly.
Is what it is. We got a organized crime syndicate masquerading as the government. And I think we've had enough of it. I think enough people are waking up already. I don't think people are voting. That's why they have to put the voting booths inside the prisons this next election, because they didn't get enough people to vote last time. They lied on the news. And said they were getting
That's a good point, John. That's a great point, actually. You're absolutely correct.
They lied on the news. On the news, they lied through the whole election that they were getting record number of votes, and they were keeping all the politicians within 2 points of each other to scare people to run out and vote for their side. And people still didn't go vote because they know it's a fraud already. So they have to do something to get votes. Now they're going to stick them into prisons. How are they going to treat the prisoners? Are they going to force them to vote, or are they just going to vote for them? You know?
That's true,
because
John.
People
That's a great point.
Fraud. They're tired of it. I mean, I was watching the election last time, and I was watching the news, and they kept going to the voting booths with the cameras, and there was nobody voting. They would catch one person at the booth. And saying,
you're absolutely correct. You know, you ask your next door neighbor, did you vote? What the hell are you talking about? I don't participate in that nonsense. You know, you're absolutely correct.
I think more than enough people know that the jig is up.
But you see, even if the people don't participate, they'll make it look like people are participating in the corporation. And I brought that up a lot of times on this show. You know, when Walmart moves the milk to aisle 9, you have no choice. You just shop there. You know, and you know, and that's the thing. And people don't understand that. You know, you enter into a contract with these people. You know, it's just like when you own a piece of property and you pay it off. You're given a warranty deed, and a lot of people don't understand that. They don't. What are you talking about? When you pay off your house and you think you own your land, you're given a warranty deed. You don't own your land. You're given a warranty deed, and if you look up the definition of warranty deed, you're a tenant. You're a tenant to the county or municipality that you live in. And therefore, you're entitled to pay a property tax to the king. And people say, well, that's a good thing. You know, we got to pay for firefighters. You know, we got to pay for roads to be paved. You know, I mean, we got to pay for the police department to protect us. You know, no, you don't pay for it. And then we get back to the and now we get into the rabbit hole. And people don't understand the Federal Reserve banking cartel. They don't understand the banking scheme or money mechanics. They don't understand that the money that the United States Treasury gives to the states and local municipalities throughout the districts out there and congressional districts and Senate districts, it's all created out of thin air. There's no weights and measures. We're not under the Constitution because the Constitution says only thing that we should barter with is what? Weights and measures, which is gold and silver. You can't adjust the weight of gold. An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. And people say, well, what am I supposed to do, walk around with 2 pounds of gold in my pocket? No. Look. That's a jackass talking right there. That's an ignoramus idiot. You know, you have gold, you know, there's gold coins, gold eagles. We did this before 1865. There were, people don't understand money. You have a banking system, the Federal Reserve banking cartel, that manipulates the currency and controls inflation and deflation, and which is owned by Wall Street and the Wall Street people up there, the brokers that buy bonds, and the bonds are actually you from the day you were born, and now we're really getting into the rabbit hole here. People are really going to call me crazy, but look up those bank routing numbers, folks, on the right-hand corner of your birth certificate. Does anyone have an actual copy of their birth certificate? There are bank routing numbers usually in the right-hand corner. Go to any stock office and ask them to look those numbers up. I've done it. I've seen it. And it's been exposed, and I've done it on this show many times. But and when they say, well, why are they buying us? Well, what are you talking about? Well, because your labor is taxed. You have a tax on your labor. Your labor is an income tax, and that income that you bring in, you're taxed upon through your labor. That's why you have a federal income tax and a state income tax. Now, I know people are not going to get it, what I'm talking about. They're not going to fully understand it. But if they do their own research, for goodness sake, take some time to look this stuff up instead of taking selfies and, and driving down the road saying, hey, look at me, I'm passing Papa John's today, instead of going on Facebook, look these things up and understand. And you'll get it. Yeah, a light bulb will most likely click on your head. You know, and we got 9/11 coming up, folks. We got 9/11 coming up, and I'm going to do a special show about that also. I wanted to make that announcement here tonight because 9/11 was an inside job. They blew those towers up, and they blew Building 7 up and 2 other buildings right beside it that had no planes fly into them, okay? So, you know, but we're going to do a special show, and I'm going to bring the 9/11 Commission report on this show, and I'm going to read excerpts from it. Yeah, I can't read the whole 3,997 pages of it to you. Obviously, we won't have enough time to do that, but I'm going to take excerpts of it, and I'm going to prove to you and coincide it to you with what the corporate media has told you and what you know of from what you heard of, and wake your little tiny paradigm mind up and understand that September 11th, 9/11 was an inside job, and they had a reason to blow those towers up. And it goes back to the Federal Reserve. It's bankruptcy law, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to explain to you why they blew those towers up, and what happened after they blew them up, until we get to today, which is what 18 years later, and why we're in the situation we are today, and why they're going after Iran next, and why they want Venezuela, and why they're in Afghanistan, and why are they still in Afghanistan? Where's Osama bin Laden? Why are they still there? Why are they building gas stations in Afghanistan? Why are they building hotels? Why is the Federal Reserve sending $45 billion every single year to Afghanistan? You know, because of these little men running around in caves that are going to attack the United States? Come on. Do you really believe that? You know? Well, of course those people hate us, for goodness sake. If another country came over to America and killed your sons and daughters or killed your father and mother, wouldn't you hate them too? Wouldn't you? So, you know, we're going to do a show on that, and I'm going to put that show together, and I'm going to explain it the best educated way I possibly can. And, of course, we're going to get idiots to call in like we always do. But, John, I'm glad you brought up those subjects. I'm going to open up the phone lines here to everybody. Move down the line here, John. I want you to stay on the line unless you've got something else you want to add real quick. Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead. Let's go on with the show, man. I'll add in as people talk.
All right. Well, all right. I'm going to bring on, of course, Mandelicon wants to come on. Mandelicon, I'm going to ask you to I'm going to leave you on the line. You know I never cut you off. You know you're practically a co-host of this show, but try to make it brief here for a couple minutes because we got a bunch of people here who want to add and contribute to the podcast here tonight. So I'm going to bring you on. Area code 302. Go ahead. You're live.
Joe Gibson, the Confederate flag. After 7 years with Tyrone Thompson of the Red, White, and Blue. It's a great day for us to be alive. For me to help you remember, on behalf of the Ethiopian Empire and the total recall of the red, black, green, and gold. And I'm glad you got John on the line, your partner in time. When it comes to the founding fathers, I want to ask you and John before I give my commentary. What did the founding fathers find? Did they have a green card, a visa, a state ID, a driver's license? Did they have a passport? The founding fathers, John and Joe, that represents the red, white, and blue, John, and Joe, that represents the Confederate flag. I represent the red, black, green, and gold of the matriarch. I want to ask both of you a question before I give my commentary, because I got your ass caught. Live and in living color, September 2019. Joe and John, the founding fathers, as you uphold and Angel Israeli love, if you're on the line, if you love the Confederate flag, the red, white, and blue, the Bible, I want to know, because the wall should have been built and the founding fathers. And now Joe and John won't say a damn thing because there will be no wall built. And the only question before my commentary is to ask Joe and John, what did the founding fathers find in 1419, 1515, 1865, or whatever the hell y'all talking about? What actually did they find when they trespassed on the holy lands of the indigenous people? Joe and John, before I give my commentary, what did they find?
Okay, all right. May I answer that first? There were 55 framers, okay, and 39 of them were the signers of the Constitution, Mandela Khan, okay. The fathers are called founding fathers. Actually, they were actually named the founding fathers by President Warren G. Harding in 1916. Okay, that's where the phrase comes from. Okay, so we all give names to a certain time of history. And,
what did they find, Joe? What did they find,
I'm answering
Joe?
your question, Mandela Khan. If you're going to interrupt me, I'm only going to take a minute. I'm not going to ramble on for 20 minutes. I'm just letting you know that Warren G. Harding.
First you said you were not going to go on in a long dissertation, but you brought John on.
I'm giving you an answer to your question.
What did they find, Joe Gibson?
Warren G. Harding, the President Warren G. Harding came up with that phrase, actually, the Founding Fathers, and it stuck. Now, I don't understand what you mean, actually, what
mean. What did the Founding Fathers, Joe Gibson, tell the truth and understand the time in which we live. There's a plethora of new people on the line who never spoke from me, John, and Joe. There's some new people of the matriarch on the line tonight. I'm asking you one specific question. What did they find?
They were a group of men that created a convention that revised the Articles of the Confederation.
What did they find, Joe?
The intention,
all
what
right,
they found
John,
was...
Your turn, John.
All right, go ahead, John.
Joe,
go ahead, John.
He refused to answer the question.
He doesn't want to listen to my answer. So, John, you go ahead. I'm trying to give historical facts.
When they stumbled on the Confederate or red, white, and blue, and it wasn't symbol
there was no Confederate flag when the Founding Fathers were there. There was no Confederate flag, so I don't know what you're talking about there.
There was no break with the Queen of England. John, there was no break with the Queen of England. I want to ask
Can John answer Mandela Khan before we move on to other callers?
John, before I didn't get my commentary, but I asked both of y'all questions. You couldn't answer.
I tried to answer it, but you cut me off.
Oh, no. Okay. You acting like Angel Relay Love. Now, I'm going to ask John. What did the founding fathers find? What did they find, John?
Okay, listen to me a minute, and you'll hear it. They founded a free country. They took away a oppressive government.
I didn't ask you about founding. John, listen to me. What did they find when they stumbled on the Americas? What and who and the people? What did they find?
They found a bunch of reject Aztecs that were thrown out of Mexico called Indians. That's what they found. Okay, that's what they found.
Joe is dismissed and he's disqualified because John, I'm asking you a question. What did the illegal alien European invader immigrants? What did they find? Find, F-I-N-D. Find, not found.
All right, Mandela Khan, you asked the question. All right, Mandela Khan, I'll let you give your commentary, but you can't talk over John. Come on now, or I'm going to have to mute you. Come on, go ahead, John. Answer his question, please.
To begin with, the founding fathers are not the ones that invaded this country. It was invaded before they came here. Okay? They were living here.
Never mind. Go ahead, John. And when you finish, I'm going to give my narrative. Joe, I'm going to give my narrative after 3 years. He's not going to answer.
All right, Mandela Khan, I got to mute you, Mandela Khan, because you're not giving respect to John to answer the question properly. Okay. Go ahead, John. I'll give you a couple minutes, and then I'll turn Mandela Khan's mic back on, and we got a bunch of other callers on the line. Go ahead, John. Take a couple minutes, and then I'll give Mandela Khan his commentary for a couple minutes. Go ahead, John.
Okay. Very simply, we did not find this country because it's always been here, obviously, and it was here long before the people that you're talking about, too, okay? But what we did do is we liberated it from the people that stole it from the ones before us, and we stole it from them, you might even say, because that's the way it always works. But we were born here. We were living here, and all we did was liberate it. And that's what the Founding Fathers did. They liberated the United States from an oppressive government, and they wrote a constitution so we would not get another oppressive government. Then we got a government in there that just took over and oppressed us anyways, which we should follow the footsteps of our Founding Fathers and re-liberate this country. And that's about all I can say on that. Nothing was actually found because everything has always been here, okay? And that's obvious. I know that's what you're looking to answer. Go ahead, Mandela Khan. Let's go with your commentary. Let's let that question go.
Okay, all right, let's let that question go. I'll give Mandela Khan 2 minutes to add his commentary, and then I got 925 and a bunch of other callers here who want to join in. 336, you'll be after Mandela Khan's commentary. I know who 336 is, and then 925, of course, 281. I see a bunch of people here. Everyone will get a chance. Mandela Khan, I'm going to give you 2 minutes here. Go ahead and give your commentary. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. My partner in time. After 7 years of Tyrone Pinocchio the Terrible under the red, white, and blue, I represent the Ethiopian empire of the red, black, green, and gold that defeats the founding fathers and the indigenous people who made an illegal contract, shook hands with the devil, the illegal alien European invaders. I said, find the people before the founding or founding fathers appeared in the shores of America, and that's just 500 years. There was indigenous sovereign people who had integrity, dignity, and independence before the founding or founding fathers. And I represent the Ethiopian empire of the Total Recall, Class Action 567 of Live and Let Live in One Love. And that comes under the jurisdiction, not under the Masonic order of the Patriarch, which John and Joe, they will have each other oppose me. But when it comes to the Ethiopian empire of the matriarch, that's the transition of power based on live and let live in one love. So we're at the right place at the right time in the right season for the right reason. So my commentary is this. If you look at the sign of the times in which we live in today, all black men and white men are guilty of perjury, sedition, insubordination, and treason under their books, the books of the dead, the Bible, Torah, and Quran, Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, Angel, Eagle, and Love. I dare you to intervene. As it's your book? No. That's micro. On behalf of the macro, live and let live in one love is only the common law, international law that covers all the other nations, and then natural law. That comes from the Creator, herself. And you could not put in absentia, in idle, and hide. You could not abolish the truth under the Masonic order of the Patriarch. John and Joe, they are talking about the Masonic order of the Patriarch. What I am helping you remember, which you don't want to recognize, is that the old world order supersedes the founding and founding fathers, Tyrone Pinocchio the Terrible of the Red, White, and Blue, and Joe Gibson of the Confederate flag. The problem is not black versus white, it's wrong versus right. And man was not supposed to take control of Mother Earth. No man, not me, not Joe Gibson, not John, not Tyrone, not Farrakhan, or Barack Obama, or Donald Trump. No man was supposed to take control of Mother Earth. It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. And I got your
All right,
ass
Mandela
at the
Khan,
right
I gave you
place
2
at the
minutes
right
for your
time.
commentary. Mandela Khan, if I'll leave you on the line here, but you got to be politeful to the other callers here and not interject here. Well, we got a lot of people on the line here, so.
New callers.
All right, Mandela Khan, I'm going to leave you on the line.
Push 1 and 3. New callers.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Go ahead, 336. Go ahead. What do you got to say here tonight?
Yeah, good evening. I was just going to answer the one question he kept asking about what the European folks found when they got here. What they found when they got here were savages, child-raping, dishonest people.
I said, what did they find?
All right, no.
English.
Hang on, let me mute him.
Mr. Davis, I did not interrupt you.
I had to mute him. Yeah, well, I muted him.
I did not interrupt Mr.
you,
Davis.
Mandela Khan. He did not interrupt you. Go ahead, 336. Go ahead.
Thank you. I did not interrupt Mr. Davis, nor did I have a chance. But anyway, but they found, they lived like beasts that couldn't keep up with deals that we made with them. Every time we turned around, they were killing people out in the woods or anything like that. So if you're not, the history has been rewritten so many times, making Indians, they're the ones that suffered so much. Yeah, well, what about the innocent 9-year-old walking through the woods that got scalped? Did he suffer at all? No. Whoever killed him, they deserve to die. And if it meant the whole damn tribe, then the whole damn tribe get wiped off because they lived like animals. And that's why now they have their little tiny regions across the United States that they're allowed to go to and gamble. And that's it. And he was talking about European invaders and everything all the time. What about the Ethiopian invaders of Africa? I mean, how many countries did they have a war with? They've had 23 wars since their inception. 23. How many have the United States been in? So don't come in here saying that America's all bad when the country you're preaching about with has done more killing and genocide than any country on freaking Earth. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. I mean, there is no more to say. He's preaching something that's completely irrelevant to what he's preaching about. So it's nonsense.
Well, what he's saying, sir, is this. He's saying love and let live, and I think what you're right is the Ethiopian Empire and the country of Ethiopia actually has more killings and mass genocide today than any of them. It's not the most in the world. I haven't looked up the data, actually, but you're absolutely right. It has more mass genocide than the United States, actually, today, within their own country and their borders. And throughout history, the Ethiopian Empire has slaughtered more people. I think even, I have to look it up. I don't have these facts in front of me, but more than the Egyptian Empire and the European Empire that Mandela Khan is talking about. So the Ethiopian Empire is just as guilty. So therefore, they should be judged under Class Action 567 also. He talks about women and grandmothers. Well, we know they have a woman prime minister over there in Ethiopia right now. A prime minister. What's the definition of prime minister? The supreme ruler that rules over everyone. But as far as the Ethiopian rights go and Ethiopian Empire, I don't know what Mandela Khan is trying to preach here, but I'll give him a chance here to come back on here in a little bit. But, sir, do you want anything else to add before I move on to other callers?
No, I'm good. I'm going to sit back and listen. I'll mute myself.
All right, thank you. Mandela Khan, I'm going to move down the line here. Mandela Khan, of course, there's plenty of time here for you to answer. And John is still on the line. John, of course, is polite, he has a lot to say also. And accusing John of being a cohort of mine, John and I actually disagree on a lot of things. But John is being very polite, and he's trying to bring his point of view to the platform here tonight. So let me move on to all the other callers here.
Joe, this is John. Can I say one thing before you move on?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, John. Go ahead before I move down the line here. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You know, the United States has been in over 200 attacks on other countries, wars with other countries, over 200 times, okay? And we, over 200 different countries, I might say. And we have never, ever been attacked by any other country. So don't think of the United States as some kind of golden, beautiful place, because we're not. We're worse than
What about Pearl Harbor?
For us, you know? I just wanted to bring that.
No,
that's
no, I agree with you. The United States, you're absolutely right, and that's not what the founding fathers of this country intended. What did George Washington say in his farewell address? He said, "Friends with all, alliances with none." Friends with all, alliances with none. That's what George Washington said. However, you know, we're no longer under those principles of the, like we were talking about in the beginning, John, of the Constitution. Our Constitution has been incorporated, and we're under a complex, industrial complex world here today that a lot of people just don't understand. You know, the military-industrial complex. I played that intro plenty of times on this show. What did Eisenhower say? You know, we go back to the leaders of history that warned us about these industrial, military-industrial complexes that are controlling our society today that we need to stay away from. And that's why Adolf Hitler was created, through the military-industrial complex, which Adolf Hitler did what? You know, he created a lot of hate and division around the world, but he was created and allowed to create what he thought would be a utopia and having a superior master race committing genocide around the world. That's at least what I got from the history books. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me. But let me open up the phone lines here. 925's been waiting a long time. Let's go move down the line here. Everyone's been offering intelligent responses here thus far. So let me move down the line. 925, go ahead. You're unmuted.
Greetings, Joe, Mandela Khan, and co-host, what's his name? Please. John, how are y'all? This is Akshita Veda. I am calling from the Bay Area, California, also representing Mobile, Alabama. How y'all doing this evening?
We're having a very deep, interesting discussion. I believe that the Ethiopian matriarch, I think, is being attacked here tonight. I don't know if Mandela Khan is properly representing it, so maybe you can.
Well, he always properly represents it because he always speaks of it and he always brings it to the topic of communication. So he's always a representation of that, being that he is the son of the matriarch, the only chosen son of the matriarch at this point. So, hey, what we're saying here is, I want to say the statement at the beginning, the government is getting what it paid for. I agree with that 100%. That is absolutely the case in point, and where we are today and why we are where we are today, because it's a programming system. And, you know, every time we speak of the Ethiopia matriarch, we want to bring up the new Ethiopia, but we're talking about the empire of the old, not the new. And so that's the difference between the new world order and the old world order, and everything that was written to go into play to deceive us, to forget where we are and who we are. So we got to stop talking about the old narratives such as savage lifestyle and things of that nature. Just because there was a different way of living doesn't mean that it was a savage way of living. So anyway, this is just how things were written in the history.
Well, that's correct. That's correct. Now, hang on. Let me
right.
interrupt you with all due respect, please. Let me interrupt you. You're absolutely correct. We can argue about history all day long and how people lived 2,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago. How do we understand the times in which you live in today? That's what I would like you to bring to the table here. How do we move forward as a people?
We can move forward by realizing that we were a war was imposed on us as a people who live freely and based on natural law. And so we've been put into a programming system that is against who we are naturally. So we've all been infected by wrong thinking, which is a patriarchal mindset. We were never supposed to be under this patriarchal mindset, which has thrown everything off balance. And so the reprogramming that we're always talking about here is getting into the matriarchal mindset and remembering who we are. The children don't even come on this earthly plane without coming through the body of a woman. So if we don't begin to first respect that, we are going to continue to be lost because we're not even remembering the very essence of who we are and from which we come from. So if the mother is always the one that's beneath everything, all things, then we don't even remember where we came from, who we came from. So we have to begin to honor the mother as she is and as she is to be honored and to respect her. And we're talking about Mother Nature. We're talking about all things that are feminine, which there's such a negative connotation on femininity. But in the end of it all, where we are today, men are changing their gender to be just as feminine as a woman, to say that they can be a better woman than a woman. So we're all confused here, and we're having these conversations about stuff that doesn't even matter when there's real situations going on around us every day. Our children are being forced into an education system that's teaching them against who they are, teaching them how to do things that they should not be doing. And it's not a matter whether I'm not even going to judge whether they should be doing it or not. It's just a matter of if it's not being taught in the home, who has the right to teach our children anything that we don't agree with as a parent within the home? So then we have to begin to become the reprogramming system within the home because that's where it starts. And so this is what we need to realize. We are the reprogramming system. It starts at home, and until we begin to link up and join and unify, then we're going to continue to be lost in this system of programming, which is not meant for us but for our detriment. What do you say, Joe? What do you think about that?
Archiveda, I'll give you about one more. I've got so many callers here on the line here tonight. I do respect what you have to say, but I want you to listen.
What you thought about what I just said. I mean, I'm done.
I do, and I want to bring that to the table.
Someone else has to say.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm trying to say is I want to give you one more minute here to give some thoughts here on, all I'm trying to say is I've got so many people on the line, and I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to say.
No, you are cutting me off, and that's okay because I'm willing to listen to what someone else has to say on the topic as well. We have been, a war has been imposed on us as a people, and it is time for us to stand up together and unify so we can begin to put into place those administrations and authority that's supposed to be there and to exist in one love, to come out of kill or be killed, and to get into live and let live. When we allow people to be who they are and to respect people on the line of respect in which they are willing to give, make it equal. The balance is what is needed. The balance is what we need so much because we're out of balance.
Can
we
learn from history? I mean, for instance, there's a lot of people there that, for instance,
but we keep talking about it.
Hang on. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I just want to ask you a question before I lose my thought. With all due respect. With all due respect,
Please.
I'm trying to ask you a question. Can we really learn from history? I mean, what was wrong with, for instance, I get a lot of people that ask me questions in the chat room. What's wrong with standing up for your own people? But yeah, that creates division, does it not? Or does it create unification?
No. Well, we look at things totally different. See, people from other countries can come over here and establish an entire neighborhood, community, with markets and things of that nature. And they can begin to buy real estate. They put their money together and they begin to buy real estate. And they have a whole Koreatown, Chinatown, Indiatown, whatever kind of Jamaica town, whatever kind of town you want to see. You can see one as long as people are willing to work together and pay for their family to do the same thing that they did. Now, we ones over here who calling ourselves black and don't realize we are more than that, don't know how to do that. And so when that group of people get together and begin to do the same thing, that are already being done that are here for us to do, then maybe we can coexist, because people exist within their own culture, within their own traditions, within their own heritage. And when you don't have that, you're lost and you're confused, and you fall into this system of programming that you're complaining about, and you don't even know that you don't even have to be a part of it if you just join with the people who think just like you. But we're too busy looking for the government to do something, and we go back to my first comment, the one that I agreed with from the recording that you played. The government is going to get what it pays for. So if you look into the government with your hand out, they're going to expect you to do everything that they have required you to do within that contract in which you have entered into. So we got to stop entering into these government contracts and realize that it's time for us to take our rights back, our birthrights, and stop selling them as we keep on signing our signature and writing our Social Security number down on everything. So, to answer your question,
Archivade, I got a lot of people in the chat room. I got a lot of people in the chat room. Judge Judy.
Okay, but let me just say this real quick, Joe, before
All right,
you
go ahead, because I got to move on to other callers, but go ahead.
In order to unite, there must be separation. In order to, the division is not necessary amongst a people, but at the same time, when we realize when you peel our skin back or you cut into our skin and we all bleed the same, then we're going to be looking at it. You're like, oh, you bleed the same as I do. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you look like. The fact of the matter is we're all going through injustice that's being imposed on us by a government system that does not care about us, yet we think they do.
Okay, all right. Archivade, just to reference people in the chat room here real quick, Judge Judy there, Shenlin, I don't know who the hell you are, but you obviously appear to be a jackass. That's what you appear to be. Yeah, it appears to be a jackass, obviously. But Judge Judy can call in if he or she wants to. Flycatch, hey, welcome Flycatch to the show. I appreciate you, Flycatch, long-time listener to the show since 2014. I must admit, Flycatch, even though I may disagree with Flycatch, I do appreciate Flycatch listening. Of course, Leroy, Bitbanker, of course, Jessico. Jessico, I think, has a lot to say. Maybe Jessico wants to call in here and add some points here to the podcast. I don't know. But we got plenty of time here left. We still got an hour, a little bit over an hour left. So let me open up the phone lines here and move down the line here. Everyone's unscreened, as always. I'll leave everyone on the line. It's up to you to mute yourself. I don't know. Maybe Mandelacon's still there, but Mandelacon likes to yell over everybody. Mandelacon, you got to listen to everyone else. Trust me, I will allow you to get your say. You know I always do, for goodness sake. Like you say, for over years now I have. But we can't talk over each other. So let's open up the phone lines here. Go ahead, 510. Go ahead. You're next.
One quick point. Hello?
Yeah, you're on. 5010. Go ahead. One quick point. Go ahead.
Yeah. Fuck Joe Gibson. Fuck Joe Gibson. Fuck Joe Gibson.
Thank you.
Joe Gibson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for waiting that long to say something so stupid.
Give him your number. Give him your number. He can call you after the show, and maybe he'll take you out on a date.
Yeah. Well, that's just an idiot. 510. And by the way, I'll give out his Blog Talk Radio actually gave me permission to give out idiots like this phone numbers. The number he's calling in from is 510-605-3285. 510-605-3285. That's right. Blog Talk Radio gave me permission to give out those numbers. So I don't like to do that to people, but when idiots call in, I will give out your number. And I'm sure it's a spoofed number, which you're violating federal law under the Corporation of the United States. And maybe they'll come get you. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But, maybe you'll just have to wait and see if you get a cold, hard knock on the door in the middle of the morning. I don't know. All right, next caller, 11111111111. Even though I really have your number, you think you're blocking your number, but I really have it. So if I were you, I would not talk stupid, because I really do have your real phone number. And Blog Talk Radio has done that for me. So blocking your number, just want to let you know before I mute you, blocking your number does not work on my platform anymore. So go ahead, private caller. Unmuted.
Good evening, everyone. How's it? Yeah, can you guys hear me? Am I coming out?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, well, I want to commend everyone on the show today. From, let's see who's been on. I think you had Mandela Khan. Was it John? Leroy? Cheetah Vega? Did I miss anyone from the everything they add and the patience that these individuals bring to the platform is outstanding and admirable. The fact that they can, just bring this to the table and work with someone as retarded as you, Joe. You're such a retard, and they put up with it, have such patience.
That's
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You don't have anything. Did you have anything constructive to say except criticize the host of this show?
Yeah, he's going to ask if you want fries with your order.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Leroy, I want your mom with that order.
All right. You're muted, private caller. Actually, you're not calling from a private number. You're calling from the state of Kentucky. But, all right, next caller here, next private caller, which I know where you're calling from also. But go ahead. Actually, let's go to 281 first. That's been waiting. 281, go ahead.
Islam. How y'all doing today? I've listened to a lot of what has been said on the blog talk here tonight, and I want to bring some truth to the table due to the fact that I heard a lot of stuff about the Constitution, dealing with the Constitution and rights, and I also heard the other lady mention matriarch, which is, she's correct. It's not patriarch, it's matriarch. Nations, a woman brings nations to the world here. And I want to say this, all due respect to everybody, white is a political status, and we must understand that there is a constitution for the United States of America, Morocco. The land is Morocco. And when you talk about United States Corporation, it is only a company. It's not the land. And that's the problem that we're dealing with, because the history has brought us untruth. And so when, like she said, when you don't know your history, you can't defend yourself. You don't have a nature of knowing who you are. And when you know yourself, you know others, and you know how to operate. Again, it's nationality. That is what the remedy is for all the construction that injuries that we are injured with today, because, again, we have the so-called black people, the heirs here of the land here in Morocco, because, again, the country is Morocco. United States is a company. It's a business, and no other than that. It went bankrupt here September 30th, 2018. Your president of that
and
country.
I'll let John reply to that. I'll reply to your question,
okay.
But I'll let you carry on. Go ahead.
I'll say one more thing here. Barack Obama was the president of that corporation, told y'all the Constitution is written on Muslim law, and that Christianity was not the religion practiced here. It's Islam. And again, I self-law am master. You're talking about the people. Again, there's two type of people here. You have a real flesh and blood person, and you have a corporation, a corporate person. And again, republic is what we're dealing with. It's the true government that's in here. On that note, you have that pyramid, which is the sigma of the Moorish American nation. It takes a nation of a people to have a flag. We're dealing with a commerce flag, red, white, and blue flag. That is only amnesty in commerce. It's not the land. Again, it's a corporation. It takes a people, a nation, to have a flag. You got to understand, America is from Chile on down, Alaska, Brazil, United States of Brazil, United States of America, Brazil, Chile. I mean, you got to qualify who you're talking about. It's nationality is the order of the day, the remedy for all these injuries, again, that we're suffering here, calling ourselves black and white. Race is human race. It's only one race of people, and that's human. And it's the indigenous people here in the land, again, are the Moorish American nationals here in Morocco. So, I mean, you can be national Brazilian. Again, I want to bring up China's Manchurians, their nationality. They're not Chinese. These people are Manchurians. Just like, again, all due respect to everybody that we're calling so-called white people, these are Europeans. The black people, they're so-called calling themselves black, these are Moorish Americans. They're more, black or more. You got to look these terms up. It's called etymology. When you go to the origin of a word, you learn to read and you understand what these words really mean, because a human learning system is erudition. To learn,
but sir, we could debate all day, sir. We could debate all night long about Moors, Christians, and Roman Catholics, and the Egyptians and the Ankh all day long. How do we understand the times in which we live in today? How do we move forward today? Does anyone offer any better solution than the Constitution that we have right now in America? Can anyone offer me a better solution? That's my question.
You can't get to the Constitution without being national. Again, if your political status is not corrected, it doesn't apply to you. So again, that's why you keep getting these injuries, because no one is doing what they need to do in the national eyes. You have to proclaim your nationality, and it's the republic. Democracy has been unseated. It's republic, return to the people. Islam, and that's the only salvation for the people. Noble Drew Ali brought that to the people to bring them out of the colonization.
What do you mean by Islam? What do you mean? You're talking about that the Constitution was founded on Judeo-Christian values.
Objection, Joe Gibson.
Muslim law, again, Obama, the president of that corporation, United States Corporation, again, he told you, again, when he, even with the Hillary Clinton, she sat down when she could speak to the nations, she had the Moroccan flag, the red flag with the green star in the middle. Again,
but what did Obama achieve while Obama was president? He achieved nothing but except crash the economy of the United States.
On behalf of the People's Court, objection, Joe Gibson.
For Orders 2014, he did that with Pope Francis. He did civil orders, letting y'all know the violation that will be taking place, that all judges are bound to the Article 6 Constitution, but in order for that to apply to you, you must be in your proper person persona. You have to be in your own self,
Joe Gibson.
life.
On behalf of the people.
Again.
All right, Mandela Khan or John. Actually, I asked John first, Mandela Khan. John, would you like to respond to that, John?
I'd like to speak to that sector, that the last Moorish gentleman, because John can't speak to the Moorish Empire, but I can. And here's what I want to say.
All right, well, you can, Mandela Khan, but I asked John first. I asked John to respond first, and I allowed the gentleman to speak. So let John respond first, please.
Go ahead. Go ahead and speak. I know you want to speak. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
If you mention a Hebrew Israelite, a Moor, Muslim or Christian, you're talking about the Masonic Order of the Patriarch, and I'm here to help you remember what you forgot. White nationalism under white power cannot enslave us, and black nationalism under black power cannot get us free. We are under internationalism. Now, here's the point I'm making. On behalf of the Ethiopian Empire, of the total recall of the matriarch of Class Action 567, the total recall comes under Committee of One on behalf of the Committee of Whole, a coalition of the willing. Under Live and Let Live and One Love, under internationalism of the Creator, which is the deity of a woman, which I am her one and only chosen son. There is not a religion
So hang on, Mandela Khan.
Earth.
Why are you the chosen son of the matriarch? Can you explain that to people? Why are you the chosen son? Why?
Here's the explanation. Most religions, whether they're Hebrew Israelites, Moors, Muslims, or Christians, white nationalists or black nationalists in the United States of America, all of you drank the Kool-Aid of Jim Jones of religion under the Masonic Order of the Patriarch. What makes me a different man than you, I don't have a weapon in my hand to fight you. There's no more armies left to defeat, no more nations left to conquer. Okay. It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature and Mother Universe, Mother Uterus, and I know Dr.
Mandela, I hate to break it to you.
Muhammad,
I hate to break it to you, but most people listening tonight probably have a weapon, and that could be a fork or a spoon. So it doesn't matter. So what are you talking about, weapon? What do you mean by weapon?
In the United States of America, the eagle, under the Confederate flag and the red, white, and blue, they have declared themselves.
I didn't talk about flags.
Listen. Yes.
Was a weapon.
They have declared themselves black and white, the eagle, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent.
No, so the eagle is a weapon.
Every other nation's sovereignty and integrity and independence and constitution. So, in other words, if you're a white nationalist or a black nationalist,
no weapon can prosper against you. You said you don't have a weapon.
Right.
So what I asked you is what your definition is of a weapon. What's your definition of a weapon?
Is those who have, from the eagle, the Confederate flag and the red, white, and blue, white nationalists and black nationalists, under jingoism, under nationalism in the United States of America, your atomic bombs, you have shown that you are omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. And you did not drop a bomb on Hitler, Italy, Ireland, or Germany. You dropped 2 atomic bombs on people of color. But the nationalists in this country, they don't give a damn about the continent of Africa. They don't give a damn about Japan. But I know that white nationalism and black nationalism is under the Confederate flag.
What about China? What about the Soviet Union? What about Australia? What about the 395 other countries around the world? Are they secluded from the Ethiopian Empire also?
Here's what I know, and I can prove what I'm saying. That Russia, China, North Korea, this thing called Iran, Iraq, Venezuela, and all those countries you say is some boogeymen, you clan Muslims and clan fathers.
I never said that.
But here's what I'm saying. They never attack African indigenous nationalists all across the planet.
They haven't?
No,
actually,
they have not.
I got some facts for you. Actually, I got some facts for you. Iran actually has proxies in Ethiopia. China does also, and they control the currency in Ethiopia. And actually, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia actually does have contracts with China, Japan,
I'm
Russia,
glad you said that, Joe.
Indonesia.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, they do.
You said that.
They do.
But according to the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights...
No, I'm not talking about the Constitution. Has nothing to do with that.
We're talking about
Ethiopia.
But I know, and this guy who says he's a Moor from Morocco, he knows
actually,
Morocco
has contracts with Iran and
he knows that just
Saudi Arabia. Yemen, Yemen,
outside this country.
Let's see here.
The United States of America and the eagle is the enemy of all life on the planet.
These notes here in front of me. So,
white nationalism and black nationalism.
Ethiopia
the United States of America is the enemy of all life on the planet.
Also.
On behalf of white nationalism and black nationalism, the United States of America, the eagle, the Confederate flag and red, white, and blue Tyrone is the enemy of all life on the planet.
How does the Ethiopian Empire intend to convince the rest of the world, the 396 countries around the world, to coincide with the Ethiopian Empire and the matriarch and class action 567? How can the Ethiopian Empire convince all these other countries to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give up everything I have and join in with the people and just say one love, let live. Even though Russia has nuclear weapons, China does, Pakistan, Yemen, and India, and Brazil, and Argentina, and the United States, and Canada, and we're all going to lay down our weapons and not point them at each other. How do we come together as a peaceful world?
Okay, Joe Gibson.
That's been tried many times, and it hasn't worked.
In the history, and I'm going to document now to the future her story, the only nation that has trespassed on the constitutions of the other nations is the eagle. The eagle has landed.
No, that's not true, Mandela Khan. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie, Mandela Khan.
That is not a lie.
Look,
That's the truth.
Akshay Veda is a 12-year veteran of the United States military. And
the United States is not the only country.
Thompson,
the United Nations. The United Nations.
They didn't put me in slavery. They didn't create capitalism based on imperialism.
Hang on, Mandela Khan. Hang on, Mandela Khan. Hang on. Who are the permanent members of the United Nations? France.
That don't mean nothing. What means something is the sovereignty and the integrity and dignity of our people from the Congo to the Congo.
The United Nations has done. No, the United Nations, France, Germany, Russia, China, and France. Okay?
You're trying to switch the narrative of what I brought forth, Joe Gibson.
There are 5 permanent members of the United Nations.
Hey, Joe,
there are
that's
5
a beautiful
permanent
tactic.
members of the United Nations. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's not just the United States. You're wrong.
You're switching the narrative from sovereignty, integrity, and dignity as independence away from
You're
the
wrong. What about
Constitution
France?
and
what about
the
China?
founding fathers.
Now he's spewing out words with no definition, though.
Have no jurisdiction in the United States of America. The founding fathers have no jurisdiction in the United States of America. The founding fathers
well, what about the
have no
jurisdiction of France, China,
under
and
white
the UK,
nationalism or
and the
black nationalism.
other members of the United
fathers
Nations?
Have no jurisdiction on behalf of the Creator all over the planet. And I represent
the fact
macro.
Of the matter is
you
we're heading
represent
into a new world
and the
order.
Moorish God represents the micro. You, Angel Iglesias Love, even Akshay Veda, who is a military woman. Y'all represent the red, white, and blue. I don't represent that. I'm here to crush your ass into oblivion with the truth.
Well, Mandela Khan,
if
you don't represent the red, white, and blue, that's fine. That's fine. That is your choice.
The truth is,
under the Constitution
of the enemy of all life on the planet. And y'all want to keep this thing just as it is. I'm here to destroy it with the red, black, green, and gold of the matriarch.
What do you mean destroy it? I thought you were said all one love and let live.
Yes.
What do you mean destroy
it?
It's
not nice to fool with Mother Nature.
Destroy anybody.
It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. Tornadoes, hurricanes,
look.
And the military cannot defeat Mother Nature. It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. I'm the voodoo child. I'm telling you.
All right,
you
Mother
give
Nature.
me what I want now.
All right, Mother Nature does not run
all the world. And 366, let me tell you this. You didn't say a goddamn thing about what I said, 336, Brother Leroy. You twisted what I said. I'm going to tell you this. Y'all going to give me what I want now.
I did exactly what you do to me.
And the total recall, you're going to give it to me fast, or all you doomsday preppers, you're going to be buried with your motherfucking water, food, clothes, and
all right, Mandela.
Here we go.
Right,
here we go with the fifth grade education again.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to other callers, see if they have something else to add here. There's a bunch of them on the line here. Let's move down the line here. 715, go ahead, 715. Yelling over each other is not going to accomplish anything. Go ahead, 713. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There you go, Charlie. Charlie.
Yes, 713. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what happened. One moment.
All right, 713. Do you want to add to the platform here tonight? 713.
Let's go.
Go, Charlie.
713.
Yeah, 713.
Hey, listen
I
up.
can hear everybody, but I'm trying to move down the line here tonight and give everyone a chance. 713 obviously doesn't want to speak. Oh, boy. All right, 506. 506. Go ahead, 506. Do you want to join in? 713, I'll get back to you in a minute. Just get things together here. When you hear the unmuted on your phone, go ahead, 506.
Hello.
Oh, boy. Oh, God. This is one of the Tony Talk trash.
Joey.
Yes,
how are you,
what?
my son?
I'm not your son.
You?
But go ahead.
Well, I thought you were a man. I am sorry. Man.
And I'm sorry too. But go ahead.
Let me say something to you.
Yeah, make it quick. You got 2 minutes like everyone else. Go ahead.
Well, give me 2.5 because you keep interrupting me.
All right, 2.5. Go ahead. You get 2.5 minutes. Go ahead.
I'd like to say that, Joey, you are being prayed for, my son. I pray to Abba, Elohim, Yahweh, Yeshua, because you, my son, have an extra chromosome, and it is important that we treat you with respect and dignity, my son. Blessed.
Yeah, and you're one of Tony Talk's trash followers, right? You follow Tony Talk, right?
He follows Abba, Elohim, Yahweh.
Well,
Yeshua,
I'm sorry that he follows anybody,
said.
but who do you follow, sir? Who do you follow, Mr. Hello?
I follow the Maple Leaf, Abba,
The Maple
Elohim,
Leaf. Oh, boy.
Yahweh, Yeshua. But Joey, I am going to say something to you.
I want to give you the ample amount of time, but you've been trying to tell me something here already for 1.5 minutes, and you said nothing but hello for 30 seconds. But go ahead.
Well, if you stop interrupting me, I will say my prayer or my advice to you. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of the evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with the great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers and my flock. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. That is from Galatians 4:20. Do you believe in Galatians 4:20?
Yes, hello. Yes. Thank you for reading from the Bible here tonight. I appreciate that. I really do. But I got a lot of callers to get to, so wrap it up real quick, please.
Well, Joey, I'd like to say hello.
Oh, God. Well, you said it. And I want to say goodbye. All right. 214. Go ahead. Been waiting 42 minutes. 42 minutes. Go ahead, 214.
Hey, how you doing? How y'all doing, man? All right. Now, speaking of the issue at hand, I hear a lot of information being tossed around that's, kind of reckless and wrong. I don't subscribe to. Only thing I subscribe to, is being the man of the Most High and the true, Hebrew Israelites. People kind of toss that around and kind of missing that at hand. The people who civilized this so-called country, and people don't recognize that. It's really the world. Now, the only way we're going to get back to move along and being one as people, I think we need to go back to how they had it in the beginning, segregation, because the hate that has been built, that's never going anywhere. We talk about generations and generations.
No, wait a second here, sir. Hang on a second here. Segregation was forced upon people. So you're saying we should go back to one race suppressing one other race?
Check it out. Hold on. Let me finish.
Are you a separatist or a segregationist?
Listen what I'm saying. Let me finish. Black folks thrived when it was like that. You hear what I'm saying? 70% of
I don't think so.
Listen,
I don't think
yes,
so.
No.
The stats prove it. The stats prove it.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
See, when people hear the truth, they don't want to. They never let you finish. 70% of black family was married up until drugs was put into our communities. You hear what I'm saying? That was forced upon us as well. See, you don't get what I'm saying.
The United States government.
Oh, look, see, everybody keep cutting people in. Let me finish talking and have some type of understanding for what I'm saying. I don't have no hate for anybody. It ain't the hate. I don't hate anybody, but I do love my people, and I'm telling you how we thrive more at that time. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't my people that broke that up. It was the people of this country that broke that up. You see what I'm saying? The other 30% of people who weren't married, they were either
therefore, you believe that the Ku Klux Klan and so hang on a second, sir. Let me ask you a question. So therefore, you believe in forced racial separation. Is that what you're saying? That segregation works for better of women and men in society?
Ask yourself this. It's always been like that before the taking. Before the transatlantic slavery happened. It has always been like that. So don't act like that wasn't like that before. Don't act like that never was like that before. You see what I'm saying? Look what we have created. We didn't create this. You know what I'm saying? The system and all.
But we keep agreeing to it though by even having this conversation.
Excuse me?
Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. However, we have evolved from that type of thinking. And that type of thinking breeds hate and destruction. And destruction and suppression of other people is not the right way to believe.
You can say it how we want to. I'm breeding love into my people.
I'm telling you facts. Now, if you're a separatist, look, hang on a second, sir. Hang on a second, sir. If you're a separatist and you believe in separate, you have that option here to be separate. You can go anywhere you want in America or around the world. There are jet planes that leave this country. You could be separate from everybody. You can go fly to Antarctica if you want. But you don't need to make other people believe what you believe. What kind of world would we live in?
I'm not forcing my beliefs on nobody. I'm just telling you how it has always been, and it works. People, at the end of the day, people can do what they want to do. I'm not having no machete to nobody's neck, telling them what they should believe in. You know what I'm saying? That's on them. People live.
Well, that's what you just said.
What was worse? You know how you feel.
I don't know what happened to John on the phone line here. I don't know. John, are you still on the phone line here? John, what do you got to say about that? Is John still on the phone line? Maybe John left us. I don't know. I think John left us. Maybe his phone died. I don't know. But where is John at? I'm scrolling down here. I've got about 175 callers on my phone line, so everyone be patient here. John, are you still there? Where's John at? Is John still there? I don't see him. Press the number 1 if you want to get on here. Understanding the times we live in today, obviously we have someone here who believes that segregation is the right way to go and that everyone should be forced to be segregated. And look, that idea didn't work, obviously, and people don't agree with it. And if you're going to force people to believe a certain way, then what you're doing is what we've been talking about here is where a lot of people have called in here with religious beliefs. You force someone to believe in a certain religion, and that's not what the Constitution is about. And, look, we created a new world here. The Founding Fathers did, and where all men and women are created equal to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the Constitution is what this show is about, is restoring our republic. But we're not under the republic anymore. And a lot of you don't get that, and you don't understand that. So, anyway, let me move to another caller here. 757. Go ahead. I'll let you on. 757. All right. Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's if that's what you want to believe.
Ain't no belief.
Go ahead, 757.
None of that shit y'all did in America ever work. Ain't nothing you did in America ever work.
All right, stop talking over the next caller, sir. Let the next caller speak, please. Please.
Well,
go ahead, next caller, 757.
Shit, should have gave me that respect.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking my call. So I know a way to prevent the end times from coming. You need to work with me. I'm going to rule this entire planet, and all of you worms are going to crawl on your feet and worship me.
All right. Goodbye, 757. Oh boy, this is what the internet is all about. Unbelievable. You do it on a platform, and this is what you get. Unbelievable. Oh, 713. Go ahead. 713.
Go ahead,
Maybe
Charlie.
someone of some. 713. Go ahead.
This is the crazy part about it. You got white folks controlling this shit as they always do, giving these bullshit ass opinions on shit.
Charlie.
They don't ever.
713. Go ahead. 713. Go ahead.
Wow, that was racist.
They don't ever hear the voice of black folks. Ever.
Well, let me talk.
Well, why does it got to be black and white here? Why does it got to be black folks only talk?
That's what it comes down to, black and white.
So what do you want, sir? So what do you want, sir?
Man, I want to hear all that shit y'all talking about, man. Y'all been controlling shit for 400 years. You trying to
If you don't want to hear it, what do you mean you all been controlling this shit for 400 years? What are you talking about?
Don't listen to this bullshit they tell y'all. That's fucking bullshit.
Can I say something, please? I mean, we can
go ahead, Archivada. Go ahead.
We
got what society calls. Listen.
For the last fucking
Hang on,
100 years.
sir. Hang on. Go ahead, Archivada. Go ahead.
Wasn't the last president black? Was not the last president black?
I'm getting my hands dirty.
He was a puppet. Now the last president wasn't black. A black man can't be president. The last president wasn't black. Obama was a Moor. Yeah, I'm still around listening.
All right, hang on. Let me mute some callers here. Because everyone's talking over each other. Let me mute some callers here. Go ahead. Archivada. Go ahead. You want to address that last caller? Go ahead.
Oh no, that's fine. I've been on several radio stations, and I get it. The communication is different, and when a lot of people come together, and everybody is so busy preaching and standing on the soapbox in their own groups, organizations, and arenas, they believe that what they're talking about in these groups are what it really is until they get into another group that has a more open mind and open concept of thinking about the way things are today. And the point of being on this show is understanding the times in which we live in today. Yet we continue to have this communication that has nothing to do with what we're going through today. When we talk about stuff like the Federal Reserve cartels, we get away from that topic so very quickly because we're too happy and too comfortable being uncomfortable spending this currency, this fiat currency, this money that we call money that isn't even real money, okay? So we don't want to talk about the Federal Reserve cartel because that's going to make us to really realize where we are and the things that we need to do to correct the situation, which is going to cause a lot of reading, a lot of understanding that a lot of us don't have. And a lot of us don't even have the patience to even try to gain. So the fact that learning more about what we need to do to make a difference causes us to be the difference, then we don't want to be the difference because that's too much work. That's too much to think about because I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. And so we got to realize that these are the type of mindsets that we have to deal with in order to make the change that we have to make the change, or allow them to deal with themselves. And we keep on pushing, those of us who understand where we are and where we're going. We are to be the change that we want to see. We have to be the first examples in our homes. We got to stop lying to our children so our children can grow up and not be in this mindset of entitlement. We feel entitled to everything that we are not entitled to. We feel like our opinion matters more than anyone else's opinion because we got 5 other people that agree with us. Well, take them 5 people and put them in a group that doesn't believe anything you believe, and then try to convince them that your truth is the truth, or what you believe is what it truly is. And if you can't convince nobody in that group anything outside of what they already believe in within that group, then we really just need to be quiet. If we can't get into different groups of people and blend and try to understand what that group is saying and where that group is coming from, then where are we going? We're just walking around or running around in a circle like dogs chasing our own tails. And so this is where we have to open our minds. We have to be willing to go through the deprogramming process in order to get to the reprogramming. We have to remember where we are and who we are and what we need to do to get out of this situation in which we're in. And we need to know how to read. We need to learn how to understand what we're reading. We need to know what to read and get people in the same mindset and to make the difference and to be able to change. Now, this is the matriarch bringing this information. This is the total recall of the Ethiopian matriarch, Class Action 567, the People's Revolution. This is where we rise in unity and become one so we can get out of this division, out of this mind of segregation. Yes, we have to separate to unify, but that's separating from the ignorance. That's separating from the wrong thinking. That's getting into the right mind frame and the right way of thinking that we are all facing injustice by people who are living wrong, creating laws that are not lawful, creating legislation that restricts us from our human rights. That's what we're up against here, but we're talking about black and white. It doesn't matter what color your skin is when you get denied services and access to service that you're supposed to be receiving because the funds aren't available because it just laced somebody's pocket. Now, yeah, that's pine needles. So when it comes down to it, we all face the same injustice, but we're looking at who's better based on those same laws and legislation written by criminals to put us in this mind of separatism or segregation. So we must unify, we must come together, we must organize as a people who want change, who are going for the right way of doing things, not the wrong way anymore, because the wrong way is hurting not just us, but our children. And we continue to go through this generation after generation wondering why we're still here, because we're too afraid to do the work within our own lives. We're too afraid to go within ourselves to heal ourselves so we can see better and think better. We're too busy tying the blindfold around our eyes rather than untying it to take it off so we can therefore see. We're too busy wearing rose-colored lenses thinking everything is so pretty. Take off your rose-colored lenses and see what's really in front of you. So that's all I want to say.
I got to agree with that. You're absolutely correct. A lot of these people don't understand that we're being controlled by a money changer system out there, the Federal Reserve, and it's not just the Federal Reserve, it's essential bankers. These people, the central bankers, these stockholders who control the monetary system around the world control us, and they got us walking around like zombies through being entertained and thinking that we got to pay our bills on time. And we have to. You're right. We don't pay our electric bill on time, they'll turn it off when electricity actually could be for free. And none of us know how to do that for free. Because, we don't live like we lived. And one caller brought it up, Actually, I don't agree with a lot of what that caller said, but years ago, family was a lot different than what family is today. You know, the father took care of the woman and children. He went out and provided. No matter how hard times got, you know, the father was out there, the worker. He's the one that planted the fields, that did what he had to do. And people say, well, we don't have fields out there no more. Yeah, because you live in the cities and because you've been designed to live in a situation now that you cannot understand, you know, and we're being entertained through what did I play in the beginning of this show? You know, our leaders are misleaders, and we're going into a new world order. And I know Mandela Khan may disagree with me here, but I think he really does agree with me in a way that we're going into a system here that and a world that where the women and children are not taken care of by their men. And it's not all the man's fault now. I'm not saying that the man is the evil guy out there. Don't get me wrong, men, because we got a lot of women out there doing the wrong thing also. Women that don't know how to take care of their children or be proper mothers. And I'm sure Arshaveda may agree with me on that. You know, there's a lot of disgusting women out there that don't know how to be mothers. Don't know, you know, but this is the whole screwed up system that we live in. And until we understand the times in which we live in today, that's what this show is about, to come back to a system where we have a family unification, a family where we can be independent within ourselves and rely on our neighbor, rely on our family, and come together as a people. But instead you're arguing about black versus white. Well, 400 years of slavery, 400 years ago, that's just total nonsense. You're just playing into the hate crap. You're playing into the New World Order. And you're right, Mandela Khan, when you talk about the old world order. You're right. There was an old world order. And they're creating a new world order. And they're doing it through our bartering system. They're doing it through the central banking scheme. They're doing it through materialism, lust, immorality, nonsense. Everything that we talk about here, and whether or not you believe in the Bible or not, that's okay. Whether you're a Muslim, that's okay. Whether you're a Moor or a Catholic, that's okay. But the fact of the matter is that this is a screwed up system that what I'm trying to do on this show is bring people together and understand the times in which we live in today. And there are many different facets of what a lot of people believe in, and we heard that here tonight. But what we need to do is come together as a people, as one people, as a people to come together and stand up against the evil out there. Because like I opened up this show with, there's good, there's bad. We can't deny that. There's good, there's bad. Just like we cannot deny one day we're all going to get old, all of us are going to die in the flesh, whatnot. Where we go, when we die, that's up to you, what you believe in. You believe in God, you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, I do. If you hate me for that, that's fine. If you believe in the Prophet Muhammad, that's fine. You believe in what you want. But the fact of the matter is today we have so many people pushing their beliefs on other people that they must believe in what they believe in, and at the same time, with black versus white, brown versus white, this and that, and stereotyping people for what they are. Now, look, yes, there are people of certain descendants of other people that may act differently than you, and we don't like it as what we believe in. Look, I may not like my next-door neighbor because he's a Mexican guy, and he wants to stand on his porch and sing all day long. I don't like that. That's disrespectful. But that's their culture. So how do we come together as a people and come to a common reason, come to a common conclusion where we can say, hey, it's okay for you to do what you do. It's okay for me to believe what I believe in. And that's what this show is all about, understanding the times in which we live in today. Now, if we can't do that, then you know what we are? We're doomed for destruction. And isn't that an interesting thing? Because that's what we're heading for, destruction. Because the higher-ups, the people that are evil out there that control everything we see and have today, control everything out there, and they're not all white, folks. They're, I don't care what you say, they're not all European either, but the people out there that control everything, they're doing this to us. They're guiding us into a system, a new world system that none of us are going to like in the end, and all of us, and we're going to reject it because it's in our human nature to reject bad. And whether or not you're the most evil person in the world or the most baddest person in the world or whatever you hate in life, we reject bad. That is simple as that. If you accept bad and you do bad, doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you doing something wrong, that you made a wrong decision. And hurting someone else is not a good thing, but you made a bad decision. So how do we make people create better decisions in life? And that's what this show is really all about, understanding the times in which we live in today. Now, we heard from so many people here tonight that want to concentrate on, again, black versus white. It was brought up on this show again. Well, it's the white guy out there. He's destroying the black people. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's all of us destroying each other for not understanding the times in which we live in today. That's what it is. Simple as that. But I'm going to give everyone closing thoughts here to the podcast. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start first here because we got 13 minutes left and take a minute and a half to give your closing thoughts. Mandela Khan, you're first. Go ahead.
Very good. What a great testimony as a narrative in international public record that I can say this, that never in the history, even with Asheda Veda, Joe, John, the Hebrew Israelite, and the Moor, they are on your podcast, producer, Joe Gibson, understand the times in which we live because of the pain, the Pan-African Intelligence Network of the Ethiopian Empire of the matriarch, the Total Recall. Now, here's what I want to tell you and Asheda Veda and the Hebrew Israelite and the Moor, or the white nationalists, your fan club or your clan club, or the black nationalists under nationality. Let me tell you something on behalf of the Creator, and here's what I can prove. The reason that you're wrong as two left shoes is because of revolution. A total, complete overturning a rotten, filthy social system and religion under Moors, Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, and Christians like Angel Eagle Love is not revolution. Why is the total recall of Ethiopia the way out? To choose a new way of life and have a change of heart. Because everybody under religion is under the Masonic order of kill or be killed. That's why class action of the matriarch 567 had to intervene on behalf of her story. Live and let live in one love is the final revolutionary revelation. I don't give a damn who signed, S-I-N-D, what wasn't theirs. And Joe, John, and even some of these Hebrew Israelites, Moses, will talk about the founding. There was no new world, and I can prove it. And Joe Gibson, I sent a plethora of information of Ethiopia, a plethora of information as it relates to the sovereignty, integrity, and dignity of the international nations. So under your jingoism of white nationalism and your jingoism of black nationality, you are null and void because the contract of shaking the hands with the devil, the illegal alien European invader immigrants who trespassed on the Holy Lands, is over. That's why Class Action 567 on the matriarch is here to help you remember. Because now, even in the United States of America, y'all not even considering. You got Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Donald Trump. You won't even consider a woman in Ethiopia, the shithole country. And as Joe Gibson talked about the shithole country of Ethiopia, there's a woman who is now the leader of the conquering lioness of Judah. The conquering lioness. Never in America will the Masonic order, whether they're Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, or Christians, never will they allow for a woman to be commander-in-chief sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. What a great time for me to be alive. Roar, roar, roar. I rest their case until next time.
All right, Mandela Khan, real quick here. Archiveda, you want to say something real quick?
Yes, I do want to
hang on here. I want to say something here real quick. Ashley says you need to change your smoke detector batteries. So, Ashley, that's it. I did it, Ashley, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. But anyway, Archiveda, do you want closing thoughts here real quick before I go to 336? Go ahead. And then I got some other callers here who want some closing thoughts, too. Go ahead. Archiveda, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I just wanted to say and add to the comment that you had made not too long ago as far as mothers learning how to mother their children again. This is one of the concepts that I feel very strongly about, which is a part of the reason why I began to homeschool my own children. I started noticing that I had given my children over to the government and the program and the education system, which was leading them in the wrong direction. And it was ultimately up to me to be that reprogramming system. So this is why I speak so highly of deprogram and reprogramming, because I have become the reprogramming system in my own home first. And so, yes, we mothers need to begin to mother our children, and that doesn't mean that just because your children is going to school outside of the home that you're not mothering them. We just can't leave them to the hands of YouTube and Netflix and all these different video games. We must begin to create these learning curriculums that are going to engage our children as well as entertain them. So then they become entertained by education, and then this becomes a part of life and that they enjoy most, being entertained by learning something new, something that is relevant and prevalent to who we are. And so that's all I wanted to add. There'll be more to come with that, Joe. I thank you for your time and allowing me to speak as usual on the show. Mandela Khan, greetings, high heaven to you. John, it was nice to hear some of the good points that were made by you on this night, on this podcast as well. So, and I greet all the listeners, and thank you for coming and listening. Thank you. Ashita Vade is out.
All right, thank you so much. Go ahead, 336. You want to give some closing thoughts to the podcast here tonight? I know it's late, but thank you for continuing to listen. Go ahead, 336. You want to say something?
Yeah, I'm about ready for bed. It's I don't took melatonin and get ready to crash myself. It's 4:30 comes early in the morning, man. But yeah. Anyway, this is Mr. Leroy, and I got the worldwide audio drive. I get up and get down from the East Coast to the West Coast and all around. Now I'll preach something to you, and it's facts because I know it's facts because I'm gonna dictate it. And the son of King Randor and Queen Marlena is my friend Prince Adam. He called me and we started a revolution. Me and another friend at Orko, we are the chosen ones. Princess Shira will become one will become millions. Men in arms will cover the Congo to the Bongo, and many faces will cover Maine to Spain. Together we will unite under the white, off-white, and even more white flag to destroy the evil forces of Skeletor, the European invader. Together we'll have total recall of Beastman and the Merman. to take back the power from the masters of the universe. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power.
All right, 236.
That was so super cute. That was funny.
All right,
I tried to be
336.
funny.
All right, I'll take two more final thoughts here. People in the chat room, of course, I'm paying attention to you in the chat room.
Okay, hey, listen, there will be no separation until freedom, justice, and total independence.
Tony Talk
Either
lovers,
freedom,
Tony
justice,
Talk.
total
Tony Talk
independence for
shows
everybody.
the best, by the way.
There will be no separation until freedom, justice, and total independence for everybody. Freedom, justice, and total independence for everybody, or freedom, justice, and total independence for nobody. Ain't no separation. We need black, brown, red, yellow, white, old, young, gay, straight alike under Ethiopian Empire and class action.
All right, Mandela Khan, let me take two more callers here for final thoughts. John, I think I lost John here through the mix. Maybe he got disconnected. We had a lot of callers here on the phone line here tonight. Private caller, go ahead. Been waiting 55 minutes. You get some closing thoughts to the show as long as you act properly here.
Hey there, Mr. Gibson. This is down here in Titusville, Florida. This is Eugene, and I'm calling to tell you that I survived the hurricane. I want to thank you all for your prayers and your support. Got a couple chairs overturned in the backyard, but that's about it.
Have a nice flight. A good night. And that's a beautiful thing. Okay. Look, we ready to swim, and everything is on course.
The question about the flags. If I see one of them flags with the gold trim, is it okay if I deface it and tear it down and take it and stomp it? Because it's not the right flag, right?
It's not okay. No, it's not okay. No, it's not. If you have a Confederate flag or a red, white, and blue, hold that flag up with the red, black, green, and gold for dual citizenship all over the world. Don't destroy no flag. Don't destroy no symbol. Don't destroy no jingoism that you pledge allegiance to. I don't give a damn who you
I'm
talk
glad
to.
you said that, Mandela Khan. Thank you very much. Absolutely.
There's Garcia
You
Vega.
hold them symbols up. If you love the Confederate flag, or if you love the red, white, and blue,
no problem.
hold it up.
I got no problem with the Confederate
with
flag.
the red, black, green, and gold.
I'm from the
then
South.
you're ready for the transition of power. If you don't hold the red, black, green, and gold up,
All right,
I don't give a
Mandela
damn.
Khan, I got one more caller here. Closing thoughts here. I was told I need to love Johnny Longfeather. So, Johnny Longfeather, whoever you are, yeah, I love you, Johnny Longfeather. But
I love
all right, next private caller.
Native American to me.
Go ahead, next private caller. Go ahead.
Well, I have something I want to say. You all heard of class action 5, 6, and 7. What have we heard of class action 1, 2, 3, and 4? Now, class action 1, 2, 3, and 4 are different than 5, 6, 7. Well, Mandela, come on, you got to stop interrupting the motherfucker here and there. Come on now. Let me get my point across. Here. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, y'all.
Oh, geez.
Man.
Oh, geez.
Go put a bad.
All right.
Let me talk. Joseph, tell me, let me talk. Let me talk. I'm trying to talk about class action 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Let me talk. Can I talk? Okay.
Eddie Bull.
Now.
Oh, geez.
Man, we're not at the movie. Stop yelling. Okay? Why do you do that? Why do you interrupt?
Pancho Villa.
That's what we doing. Hey, listen up.
Villa, Mexico.
Listen up here, man. Cool. Let me tell you something. Class action 1, 2, 3, and 4 is talking about the food stamp. Now, the food stamp talk about you trying to steal from the white man because we paid the tax it, and you want to get the food stamp and get the free government cheese and peanut butter, and I'm not going to give it to you. Hell to the motherfucker no. I'm moving on
this
up.
is really some. This is the real Amos and Andy. And what's that guy, Soupy Sells? Y'all remember Soupy Sells and Amos and Andy? And you remember Red Skeleton and Comic View? Let that guy speak for 30 more seconds and watch him make you laugh.
Okay, all right, that's what I'll do.
Well,
all right. Nonsense. No, that's nonsense, Mandelicon. That's nonsense. But I'll give you 30 more seconds to wrap up the show. Mandelicon, my famous co-host here to the podcast. Go ahead. We're in overtime, so you go right ahead. And I'm talking to people in the chat room. I'm talking to Ashley in the chat room, actually. So very interesting. But go ahead. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead, Mandelicon.
As you help to wake the people up, I'm here to destroy. I'm here to destroy the Masonic Order of the Patriarch. So we got two different entrees here. On behalf of the matriarch, living one love, the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers, they are the final administrations and authority to decide where we go from here. Deal or no deal. Let's make a deal. Behind door number one, there's white nationalism. Behind door number two, there's black nationalism. And behind door number three is all power to the people, internationalism of the Ethiopian Empire. Live and let live in one love. Which one do you choose? And somebody got to be wrong. Don't you love it?
All right, well, we got to wrap up the podcast here at Mandelicon. But anyway, I lost electricity last night, so we were unable to do a podcast. So I got to wrap up the show. So thanks, everyone. Archiveda, thank you so much for calling in. We got to get going here. All right. Bye. Love all of you, I promise. But understanding the times which we live in today, that's what the show is about. Very interesting podcast. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Take care.
We love you.